time for the main event.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you like the content, hit the subscribe button, leave a like down below. So Mike Straw over on X posted late last night. Of course, he posted something after I finally went to bed and I just got home to talk about it. AEW Fight Forever lost upwards of $30 million. If you want to watch his full breakdown of everything, I will leave a link in the description down below. But we're going to talk about this because there's one thing he didn't mention in there. And he said, according to his sources, there's nothing being done with a future AEW game. He didn't mention anything about what we talked about on the channel a couple days ago, and what multiple channels have talked about at this point, when I should have just showed the footage to begin with. And that's how Ultra Pro Wrestling was approached to potentially make an AEW game. But nobody is making the connection here that I'm about to talk about, so let's go talk about this. But before we do that, let's go look at this post, and let's just brainstorm the 30 million loss and the one thing that nobody's taking into consideration of why they lost that much money. Let's get to it. All right, so here is Mike Straw's post. He says, when AEW Fight Forever launched in 2023, it wasn't a big success that AEW had hoped. He says he's now learned exactly how much money the company lost on the first game and what this means for the future of its games division. So, a lot of people are shocked by this, and other posts on here pretty much just broke it down right away. AEW reportedly took 30 million loss on AEW Fight Forever video game. More details here. All right, I'll just read this real quick, this little synopsis, and then I'll give my 2 cents. It says, Tony Khan has been asked frequently about the future of AEW Fight Forever video game and whether he will or will not do another one. Based on a new report out Thursday, there appears to be a financial reason, this stupid ad crap, why that hasn't happened yet. Insider Gaming executive editor Mike Straw published a brief video Thursday, seen below, where he revealed through his sources that AEW had to take a massive loss of at least $30 million from the development of the game. Part of the reason was due to long delays for the game, yes, and deadlines being missed. The one thing they're not considering here is this was during the thick of the pandemic. Everybody was struggling during the pandemic, so of course they took a huge loss because everything kept getting delayed because they probably couldn't get to the offices to make the damn game. Everybody had to bring their work home with them, so of course the game got delayed. This game was doomed to fail from the start because of the pandemic. The world shut down. It's like everybody forgot that happened. And I'm not sitting here defending it. If one more ad pops up, I'm never using this site again. But anyway, as I was saying, the world shut down. So of course this game got delayed. Of course things didn't get done. And of course it ended up being a huge loss. And that's something none of these people are talking about. They're just trying to make it look like, well, they were so incompetent they couldn't get it done. GOAC has been making wrestling games for over 20 years. And I feel like there were so many factors on both sides. They wanted all this checklist of stuff. They wanted it for a certain amount of money. The pandemic happened. Things weren't working out correctly. Everything just kept happening all at once. And this game just had no snowball's chance in hell of succeeding after everything that went down. And again, I'm not defending GOAC. I'm not defending the fact that it's not a bad game. It's just an unfinished game. You could tell they had such cool ideas in this wrestling game, Fight Forever, that it sucks that it didn't get all the updates and everything it needed to be flushed out as a fully complete wrestling game. You can tell that they left. It feels like they left development halfway through. They did everything they were contractually obligated to do, and then they just parted ways. What's funny is that nobody is talking about how AEW owns the engine for Fight Forever. They could literally bring in any other company to make the game, and any other company like Ultra Pro Wrestling Devs, Hyperfocus Games, who was approached, according to their latest update over on their Patreon, they were approached by AEW, a representative who's no longer there. Maybe they'll see the video that they just posted and say, holy crap, we can have these guys do it. What if Sam and Hyperfocus Games gets to go in and not necessarily use the Ultra Pro Wrestling engine because it's not complete yet. What if they let him take the reins and use the AEW engine that they made, that Yuke's made, and use that to make an AEW game for them? They don't have to have an engine made. They can have Sam come in and company, and since AEW has a lot of funds, they could hire a team to help Sam make an AEW wrestling game. And then the money he gets from that, he can go and fund his Ultra Pro Wrestling game. However, if this happens, this will put Ultra Pro Wrestling on the back burner until AEW is complete. So that's my only concern if that happens, because Ultra Pro Wrestling will be delayed for another 2 or 3 years, which would suck because we all want Ultra Pro Wrestling. But it would be really good for him and beneficial for him, because then it would show that Hyperfocus Games can release a game. It would show that, and it's an AEW game, so in a way, it would really, really help Ultra Pro Wrestling in the long run if they decided to do that. And I think that's the move to make for them. So if AEW reaches out to them again, I think it'd be really cool for them to use, or let them use, the AEW engine that Yuke's built. Maybe they could do a co-collab and have Yuke's and Hyperfocus Games come in and work together and make another AEW game with all that talent, all those geniuses that are there, and just come up with some awesome new AEW game. Or, better yet, maybe they can have Ultra Pro Wrestling team come in and add in all the things that we wanted, that we were asking for on that list from, I forget their name, but there was the community manager who took all of our notes and put it all together for us and gave it to the developers of what we wanted. Maybe they bring in a company like Ultra Pro Wrestling. They come in, they take the game that's already built, already there. They don't have to make a new game from scratch. And they just start adding stuff to it. They just start adding new modes, new this, new that. That would be a great way to get Hyperfocus Games' name out there. Although all of us that cover wrestling games know about them, it could show that they know what they're doing with wrestling games, and the money they get from that could really help Ultra Pro Wrestling get to the finish line that we've all been waiting for years. And there's always some new setback, new drawback, or whatever, because there are only 3 people working on the game. So wrestling games, in my opinion, wrestling games are one of the hardest things to make, because there's so many different things that people play wrestling games for, and if you don't tick all the boxes, then you're going to piss off some chunk of the fan base and nobody's going to buy it. You have to have a creator wrestler that's really, really good. You have to have a story mode that's really, really good. You have to have real wrestlers in the game. You have to have great gameplay. Yeah, I mean, there's just so many things you have to have in a wrestling game that there's a reason why there's only one left, and that's WWE 2K series, because nobody else wants to touch it. If you don't have big names, big draws to the franchise, then wrestling fans won't touch it. I would, because I love wrestling. I even played games like Ultimate Muscle and what was that other one? There's another wrestling game that has no real wrestlers in it. I like those kind of things because I like the originality of it. But yeah, for the most part, most wrestling fans won't touch a wrestling game unless there's a real wrestler in there. And luckily, Ultra Pro Wrestling has secured some contracts for real wrestlers. The Wrestling Code's got real wrestlers in there. In fact, its entire roster is real wrestlers, if that ever comes out. Neckbreakers Pro Wrestling, another wrestling game that's in the works, which we haven't got an update for in quite a while. That's being made by one person, and that doesn't have any real wrestlers in it as of the making of this video. Who knows? Maybe he's got some contracts coming up or something, but that game's going to struggle because it doesn't have any real wrestlers in it. So for those type of games, they have to have a super robust created wrestler with community creations so that the fan base can build the real wrestlers for them or for each other, because that's what we do. So anyway, I just wanted to talk about this. This is huge news. I was in the hopes that because Yuke's last game launched, I want to say it was last October. It was some weird robot high school girl game. If you know, you know. It was such a bizarre game. It's like a roguelite. You're fighting an evil corporation and you're going through levels and levels. And if you die, you have to start all over. And I hate roguelites. But anyway, that game came out last October, and I don't think Yuke's, last time I checked, was working on anything else. So I was super hopeful that they were working on either AEW Fight Forever 2, or they were working on bringing new content to the first AEW Fight Forever and have a new edition of it called AEW Fight Forever Turbo, like they would do with Street Fighter or something. But I don't know. the fact that this news just dropped and they lost $30 million, I don't think that they're going to give them enough money or funding to make another game, even though the engine's built, even though they have the groundwork, and it would be super simple to make a new game. Unfortunately, half the talent that really would have sold people on the first game is gone. We got Jade Cargill's gone, CM Punk is gone, Cody Rhodes is gone, Penta's gone. There's so many wrestlers that are in that game that aren't going to be in this next game. How do you sell people on buying the next game, other than the fact that the morale around 2K, the 2K franchises, is an all-time low, even though the game is a very fun, fleshed out wrestling game. It's just the monetization was way too heavy in 2K26. So there's that also. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about this. There's so many different facets to this that it could go any way. Like Ultra Pro Wrestling devs, Hyperfocus Games, Sam could come in. They could either take the AEW engine and build the game off of that. They could go in and add a bunch of content to the first game because they still have the CM Punk, Cody, and all those wrestlers in there. I think that would probably be the best option for them and for AEW, because it shouldn't cost that much money to add a bunch of stuff to that first game. And they could do, like I said, a turbo edition. Like, here's a new edition of the game. We upped it. We did all the stuff. I know they would piss off a major part of the fan base that bought the original game, but they could go in. They could add in full-length entrances. They could add in a better countering system. They could add in way better online. They could add a bunch of stuff to the Stadium Stampede. Like, everything is there. They could literally hire, and it doesn't have to be Hyper-Focus Games. It could literally be anybody. They could bring a team in, go nuts with adding a bunch of stuff to the first game, fix everything, get everything that we wanted in there, complete the creation suite, fix the career mode or add a few extra parts to the career mode, add a universe mode. There's so many things that they could do with the first game that they don't have to make a second game if they're afraid of losing so much money. You could give somebody $10 million bucks, or $5 million or whatever, or just have it be contingent. I don't know if any developer would go for that. Have it be contingent on the sales on what they make for it, like the percentages and everything. So I just think that's probably the best bet, and that's what I would try to do if I was Tony Khan. But he doesn't know anything about the games business. He doesn't know anything how that works. Neither does Kenny Omega. I mean, how cool would it be if they got Capcom to come in and add a bunch of stuff to the game? Like do crossovers and stuff like that. Anyway, the sky's the limit. I'm not giving up hope on it yet. I know AEW has kind of cooled off since this game released. And yeah, $30 million. I mean, if you're a billionaire, that's not a lot of money. But if you're trying to make a profit and really help your business and really help the wrestling promotion, $30 million is a lot. Like, that is a lot of money, especially if he was expected to only give him $10 million. That was the budget, and they went that much over, and they severely missed the mark. Then yeah, I would be a little gun shy and greenlighting another game. But anyway, that's just my thoughts on it. Sound off the comments down below how you feel about this. Make sure you go check out Mike Straw's full video. It's only like 3 minutes long, and he goes into not like a crazy amount of details, but he goes into like what the sources told him exactly. So there's that. Anyway, thank you for watching. Sound off the comments down below, and as always, stay frosty.